I had been thinking about doing this trip, a 2-week solo in the Boundary Waters, for several years, but other things kept getting in my way. The last few years, however, I've been noticing that the portages aren't getting any shorter or easier. My packs aren't getting any smaller or lighter. Most of all, I'm not getting any younger. It was painfully obvious that if I was going to do this trip, now was the time. And so it was, early in the morning of August 17th, 2015, I set out from the Lake One landing to begin an epic journey. Epic for me in any case. Well, it is 7 o'clock on the third day here of our trip. Just getting up, got a late start, which is okay because we're just going to be staying in camp today anyway. It rained almost all night, sometimes very heavy, and we're finally getting a break now. I don't know how long for, because it's supposed to rain all day today too, but at least it's giving us a break for getting up. Now, I talked about the tent setup yesterday, and somehow or another, even despite being on high ground, we still got rain, or we still got water flowing underneath our ground cloth here. Some of it did come up through, and I can't figure out how or where that came up through. So my sleeping bag got damp. Where Sam was sleeping right next to my armrest here on his fleece blanket, that got damp. But it's only damp, it's not wet, so I think it's going to be okay. It wasn't leaking, our tent wasn't leaking, it was all coming underneath, and I can't figure out where it came in because the far edge, the high edge of the tent, everything's dry. So it's almost like we're set up on top of a spring or something. Anyway, even worse though is you can see down here where how wet this tent pad is, and those channels have just gotten bigger, and obviously rain water was flowing right down through here last night. There's still a little bit of standing water here, not much, but a little bit, very shallow. So that would have been disastrous to have been here. So bad enough situation where we are, but not too bad. Now I have to go down. I see the tarp is still standing, so that's good news. And I need to go and see. We probably had some rivers running down through there too, but I did everything up last night so that that should be definitely had some water running through under the tarp as well, so this definitely would not have been a good tent pad either, but I knew that from the start where the tarp is. But what is puzzling is that the chair itself has, I had it upside down and on top of my packs further back, but it has a lot of water, had a lot of water on top of it, and hopefully that's from the wind blowing rain in rather than the tarp leaking. But I'm hoping that the tarp isn't leaking on me, because if it rains later on, I'm going to be relying on it to keep me dry. But there's no dryness on the ground anywhere underneath that tarp now, and but I think that's because Along with the rain last night, we did have a lot of wind, so hopefully it was just that the wind blew water in there and not that the tarp was leaking. Anyway, everything is damp. Damp. Like I said, it's only supposed to get in the 50s today. Actually stay in the 50s today. So, going to be a chilly day, chilly, damp day. But we'll make the most of it. At least the firewood stayed relatively dry underneath the tarp. I don't know if you saw that. You probably did. I pulled the firewood up underneath the tarp last night so it would stay relatively dry, and even threw my PFD on top of it. So yeah, we should be able to get a fire going. I should be able to get a fire going tonight, later on this afternoon, whenever. Help to keep the chill off, help cheer things up a little bit. The path down to the lake apparently was a minor river last night. Give you some idea of how much rain we got last night. My coffee pot was sitting on the grate, on the fire grate, with the lid on, and it was empty last night. So the only water that was getting in was coming in through the spout, and I've got a good 1/4 inch of water at the bottom of the pot here. So that had to be significant rainfall in order to do that. Day 3. I'm finishing up the last of my sweet and sour pork. Unfortunately, they don't do this in the Pro Pack, so I had to go with a full pack, which is quite a bit to eat. Please, Mountain House, please put this in Pro Pack for me. Anyway, to summarize today, I've been sitting under this tarp a lot of today. Most of the morning it was only drizzling at most, didn't have much rain at all. This afternoon it's been a little bit different. Been getting some showers off and on, some of them pretty heavy, and so I actually ended up cooking underneath my tarp here and eating under it. It's just, that big burst is just from water coming off the leaves. But anyway, yeah, it hasn't been a real active day, thanks to the weather. I could have moved on. I mean, there's no thunder involved with this or anything, so definitely would have been safe to paddle in this, but I try to avoid doing that for two reasons. One is for Sam, because he gets cold very easily. In fact, actually, he spent most of his day sitting on my lap, and right now he's sitting down next to me. Let's see, can I do this? There he is, sitting wrapped up in his dog blanket. Now most of the afternoon, or most of the day, he's actually been sitting on my lap, wrapped up in that dog blanket. And I had to put him down while I ate. So anyway, showers are supposed to continue off and on all night. It's supposed to diminish by morning. There's a chance of a stray shower in the morning, but the plan is to pack up as soon as I can tomorrow. It's probably going to take a little while, partly because of everything being wet, and partly because of, I've spent 2 nights here, so things get out and disorganize a little bit more every day that you stay in one place. So, but hopefully get on the water fairly early tomorrow, and then I'll kind of take it as she comes, but the goal tomorrow is to try to get to Pan Lake, which again will put me on my original plan. Not that that matters. Doesn't matter at all, but I'd just like to get to Pan Lake tomorrow if I can. But if I can't get that far, that's okay too. I would really like to, by Friday, get to Little Saginaga. Sounds like we have another weather system moving in for Saturday night into Sunday, and so a couple of forced layover days there, because I don't like traveling in the rain. Yeah, never mind. I left off a reason before for not traveling. It's not just Sam, but also my cameras. Well, first of all, it's hard to take pictures in the rain without destroying the cameras. And another thing, trying to keep the cameras from getting wet when it is raining out is difficult if you're moving. So those are the two reasons I like to stay put when it's raining. If it wasn't for the cameras, it wasn't for Sam, I'd be okay myself, just going ahead, putting my rain gear on, and heading off into the rain and whatever. But anyway, like I said, it sounds like we have another system coming in Saturday into Sunday. So if I can make it to Little Saginaga, have a little bit of time somewhere along the way to explore that lake. I'm now very, very, very seriously considering changing my route to one that's shorter distance-wise, and one that allows for a lot more layover days, and hopefully layover days when it's not raining, so I can actually get out and explore the lakes I'm on. Not sure if you can still hear me over the rain shower. Obviously another one has moved in. Anyway, I think I'll sign off for tonight, and this will probably be it for today, unless something interesting happens between now and the time I go to bed. So, and speaking of bed, I checked my tent. It's still pretty wet in that one patch. Hopefully it's not going to get any worse. Sounds like we got the worst of our rain behind us. So I'm hopeful that, like I said, it doesn't get any worse. I did look for a better place to put the tent, and I just can't find one at this site. Just anywhere I go, it's going to be prone to water and puddling, so got to make do with where I am, and like I say, I hope for the best. So now I think that's it for tonight. and hopefully a better day tomorrow, weather-wise. Not that today's been a bad day, but just you know, for this kind of weather, it is kind of tough to deal with sometimes. But you have to deal with it when you're doing this kind of trip, and you can't let a day like this spoil your trip for you. Because they happen. I mean, it sounds like I might have a couple more of these coming up in the days to come too. So I'll say good night, even though it's not quite night yet, and probably who knows what time it is your time. But good night, and thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Come here. Where are you? Come. This is a much nicer ending to day 3 than what I had a little while ago. After I had supper and got dishes washed and kind of got things cleared away a little bit, I noticed that the rain had pretty much stopped. So I thought I might as well use up some of that firewood that I gathered yesterday and some that had been left here, and at least end the day on a cheery note. And so here's the cheery note of the fire in the grate. Warming us up, drying us up a little bit. Actually getting us a little bit too warm right here, but much nicer than, or basically the highlight of the day. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll talk.